If you had a chance to help others, what would you do?
In this, the third episode of a 7-part series about September 11th, we'll look at some of the heroes of 9/11. People who chose to save friends, co-workers, and even strangers. Check the description in each video of this series for discussion questions and activity ideas if you want to explore deeper.
This is a difficult topic for anyone.
We created this series to help people learn about September 11th in a safe and meaningful way.
Who are some of the heroes of 9/11?
Heroes showed up in all kinds of different ways on 9/11. Some wore uniforms and some were everyday people.
When human instincts told them to run away, they did not listen.
When the Twin Towers were hit, firefighters, police officers, and EMTs rushed towards the danger, running upstairs while others were trying to escape.
Staying calm in the middle of the storm, they helped guide thousands of people out of the buildings to safety. Despite being in danger, they kept working even after the second plane hit.
343 firefighters, 60 police officers, and 8 EMTs died that day.
One of the many was Oriel Palmer, a New York City Fire Department battalion chief who responded to the crisis at the World Trade Center. He climbed all the way up to the 78th floor of the South Tower, right near where the plane hit, carrying heavy gear and helping others as he went. His calm voice on the radio showed incredible bravery. He died when the tower collapsed, but his actions saved lives and inspired the world.
Other first responders somehow found a way to survive.
For example, Sergeant John McLaughlin and Officer Will Jimeno of the Port Authority Police rushed into the World Trade Center to help evacuate people. When the towers collapsed, they were buried alive under tons of rubble. Trapped for hours, Jimeno and McLaughlin were finally rescued by former Marines Jason Thomas and David Carnes, who were searching the rubble for survivors. Their story was later told in the film World Trade Center, starring Nicolas Cage.
Other heroes were doctors and nurses.
Many reported to hospitals and emergency sites to help those in need. Others set up triage centers near Ground Zero to give care right away.
Some stayed for days, working long hours to help the survivors and the first responders.
One of the doctors was Dr. Carrie Kelly, the FDNY's chief medical officer. She rushed to Ground Zero to help injured firefighters and set up emergency care. She treated first responders and later led efforts to monitor and treat 9/11-related health issues, becoming a champion for their long-term care.
Flight attendants and passengers on the plane tried to protect others.
Betty Ong was a flight attendant on American Airlines Flight 11. She calmly called airline officials to report the hijacking, giving important details about the hijackers and what was happening on board. Ong helped authorities understand the situation in real time and marked her as one of 9/11's earliest heroes.
Danny Lewin was a passenger on Flight 11.
A former soldier in the Israeli Special Forces, he bravely fought back and was likely the first person to resist that morning as the hijackers took over the plane. Though he did not survive, his courage made him one of the first heroes of 9/11.
Who were some of the everyday heroes?
Not all heroes were trained to help in emergencies. At least they weren't there in that role.
Many were just like you and me.
On Flight 93, passengers fought back against the hijackers.
Through phone calls with loved ones, the passengers learned about the attacks in New York and the Pentagon. They realized that their plane was a part of the plot, so a group of brave passengers, including Jeremy Glick, Tom Burnett, and Mark Bingham, decided to fight back to stop the hijackers from reaching their target, believed to be the U.S. Capitol.
Another passenger who fought back was Todd Beamer.
While on the phone with customer service supervisor Lisa Jefferson, he told her some on the plane were going to try and regain control of the cockpit. The call ended when he famously told the others, "Let's roll," as they began to fight back. Unable to take control of the plane, it crashed into a field in Pennsylvania. "Let's roll" came to represent the spirit of the American people during that time and has since been a rallying call that inspires.
Some heroes were office workers and restaurant employees who helped co-workers survive the day.
Benjamin Clark was a chef working on the 96th floor of the South Tower. A former Marine, he helped evacuate his co-workers and all of them got out safely. In all, he was credited with saving hundreds of lives. But Benjamin Clark stayed behind to help a woman in a wheelchair. He was last seen with her before the tower collapsed. When asked about it, Benjamin's mother said he was a Marine. He wasn't going to leave anyone behind.
Rose Crowder was a 24-year-old who worked in the South Tower of the World Trade Center.
He had been a volunteer firefighter and always carried a red bandana in his pocket. After the plane hit the South Tower, he helped guide people down the stairs to safety, even carrying some who were injured. Instead of leaving with the others, he kept going back to help more. Many survivors later said they were saved by the man in the red bandana who was discovered to be Wells Crowther. He gave his life to save others, and he's remembered as a true hero.
Lieutenant Colonel Ted Anderson was working at the Pentagon on 9/11.
When the plane hit, he was knocked down but quickly got up and rushed to help others. He went back into the smoke and flames multiple times to rescue people trapped inside. Despite the danger, he refused to leave until he knew others were safe. His courage saved lives that day.
Other organizations donated food, water, and supplies to emergency workers and other people that were affected.
The American Red Cross raised over $1 billion for 9/11 relief efforts. They provided food, shelter, and provided assistance for victims and families. The American Red Cross also funded long-term mental health services and aid to first responders. Created by the United Way and the New York Community Trust, the September 11th Fund raised $534 million from over 2 million donors.
They helped victims' families, workers, and small businesses.
Large companies such as Citigroup and Bank of America donated millions of dollars. Celebrities like Paul McCartney and Jay-Z performed in benefit concerts. And others across the country raised money in so many different ways. Others donated their own blood in blood drives.
Helping others in a time of crisis is one of the greatest things that a person can do.
These stories remind us that bravery can come from anyone.
Why it's important to remember the heroes of 9/11?
It's important to remember the heroes of 9/11 because they showed us what courage, kindness, and selflessness looks like even in the face of danger.
Many were ordinary people who did extraordinary things to help others. Firefighters running into burning buildings, passengers stopping a dangerous plane, and strangers helping each other escape. Remembering them honors their bravery, keeps their stories alive, and reminds us how powerful it is to care for others. Today, there are memorials, museums, and ceremonies that honor these brave people. They remind us to never forget their courage.
It's okay to have questions. Asking them is how we learn.
In the meantime, be kind, stay curious, and remember, learning about history helps us understand the world and become better people. Check in for the next part of this series where we take a closer look at Flight 93.